Hello, YouTubers. Hey, it's me, Rachel Salazar again. I just want to tell you that, first of all, I'm not an evangelist. I'm not a prophet or anything like that. I'm just another watchman on the wall. First of all, let me start off with scripture today. I would like to tell you that in Matthew 24, it says, Matthew 24:41 to 43, it says, two women will be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken and one the other left. Watch you therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be you also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. So be ready always, especially now, because we're living in such perilous times. Let me tell you this. I'll give you first a dream that I had a while back. I had this dream, I want to say about a year ago, maybe longer than that, maybe a year and a half ago. I dreamt that I was in the laundry room and I was cleaning it. And I wish just to talk to this friend of mine and tell her about, the end days, that Jesus was going to come and the rapture was going to come, and to always be ready. I think probably had her scared all the time. But anyway, I was talking to her about it, and all of a sudden I saw, as I was speaking to her, I saw a big band, the big clock over there in England. And there was people going around. It seemed like the Harry Potter people or something was like Harry Potter. And there was just other people just going around and around it. And I looked and I thought, wow. And then I noticed she was going around it. And, people were just going around and around it. And I thought, wonder what they're all doing going around it, why they're going around the clock. And they're just, going in circles. And anyway, it was, and I looked at the clock and it was 5 to 12. And I just watched them. They were going around and around and around. And I remember it was kind of like a dark, dreary day, like sort of like the Harry Potter, it was all dark and all that. But anyway, people were going around and around it. And all of a sudden the clock hit 12 o'clock. And I saw the cloud. It was cloudy that day. And all of a sudden I seen the cloud open up and it swallowed my friend up and everybody was gone. And I was like, wow, where did everybody go? I was like thinking, hey, So it wasn't until later on I thought, well, I remember telling someone and they said, well, maybe your friend's going to die or something, And I thought, but then the more I got thinking about it, I thought, you know what, I better believe that was the rapture. Because I remember it was just like she was sucked up into it and she just left. And everybody was gone. And then I remember thinking, well, how come I didn't go up? Hey, I started thinking about that. But anyway, that being said, I realized too that I had an unforgiveness too, and I thought, oh my gosh, what if there's something, what if I don't make the rapture? If that was rapture, and I need to be going too. And so anyway, what I'm saying is, we have to always be ready and make sure that our heart is like a child. And I remember my friend too, she was always very forgiving, about things. And I had to, I guess, well really, since then I had a lot of forgiveness that I had to forgive people about over things, stupid things that made me angry or mad or whatever. We have to have the heart like of a child. We can't just be bitter about anything. We have to have a perfect heart, because when it comes, it's not going to take us if we have hard feelings towards anybody or revenge against anybody. Speaking of which, I remember when one of our sons was 8 years old, and I remember I was always telling him about the rapture. Oh yeah, the rapture's coming, blah blah blah, and I dragged him to church, and he didn't want to go to church, and we went through that whole thing. Anyway, I remember I was always telling him, yeah, the rapture's going to come, and when it comes, you better be ready. You better be ready. And he said, yeah, Mom, yeah. And anyway, one night he had a dream. The next morning he said, well, Mom, I dreamt the rapture came. He said, me and Dad, we were all up there, but you weren't there. And I thought, yeah, right. And he said, no, really, really. And because at first I thought he was joking when he was telling me the truth. And that was years ago. And after that I started thinking, what do you mean? I go to church, I do everything right, and, everything else. And of course I had a little bad temper too, now and then I'd say bad words and, whatever. But what I did, and then I started praying about it, and then I realized, somebody told me, well, you have to have total unforgiveness. You can't be having hard feelings towards people. And I realized I had 8 or 9 people that I needed to forgive. So, so that's been many years ago, and I forgave all those people one by one. I made a list out. I thought I was determined. I thought, oh my gosh, that could very well happen. You have to, in order to make it to hell, to make it to heaven, you have got to have a clean heart. You have to have peace. You have to love you have to love people. You can't have hard feelings. You have to have like the spirit of a child. And so anyway, that's very important in these last days, because we're always getting mad about this or mad about that. If we're not mad at the government, we're mad at people, or or something's not going right. But you got to have that forgiveness in your heart. You have to have the heart of a child, so that when he comes back, that he's ready, and that you're ready, and that he can take you to heaven with him. And when you say not, the Lord doth come. It's serious. It's not, years ago you had time, you could party and have a big time and do all this and that, but those days are over. This generation doesn't have that privilege. They need to be ready now. We're looking at perilous times. We're living in them now. So I just want to tell you, people out there, just have a pure heart, have forgiveness, and be, you have to have the heart of a child. Forgive people, to love people. Even people that you hate, okay, you can love them from a distance. If you hate them, just forgive them and let it go. Let it go. Is it worth 7 years of tribulation? No, nobody is worth that. Okay, you can forgive them if it's a relative or whatever, but love them at a distance. But you have to have peace in your heart and just say, God, I give it to you, and leave it at that. What does that scripture say? Perfect love casts out fear too. And also, faith cannot work without love. But most important, well, that's it. I need to cut short. Okay. Thank you. Good night. And let God arise and let his enemies be scattered. Thank you. Good night. Bye.